Hello, I hope you're doing well. And my name's Lou, the media journalist. This is just something I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. I've been always wanting to make a YouTube video, so I thought it'd be fun to do one. More specifically about movies, video games, comic books. That's really the main thing I'm going to be talking about here. But yeah, I thought for my first video, I thought it'd be fun to do a ranking, and more specifically, a ranking on my favorite character, my favorite DC character, and just my favorite comic book character in general, and that's Batman. So without wasting any more time, without doing any more introductions, let's just get right to the list at my number 12. At number 12, easily the worst in this list is Batman and Robin. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to add that everybody else has already said. Terrible costumes. I hate them. I don't think they look good. The bat nipples, very, very weird. Terrible performances, mostly from everyone. I don't like George Clooney as Batman. He really looks like he did not care. He doesn't have the gravitas or suave to play Bruce Wayne or the intimidation factor to play Batman, which is a shame because he's actually a good actor. I thought he would have been perfect casting, but he did not care. At least I feel like he did. And Chris O'Donnell as Robin, brother, he's more annoying in this film than he was in the last one. And I didn't even like him in Batman Forever. In this film, he's just 100 times worse. More brattier, more annoying. And I just did not like him. I hated every time he was on screen. As for the villains, they're not that great. I mean, I will say this. Arnold, he's entertaining in the film. And he is probably the only one that looks like he's having fun. And I will also give him some more credit and say that he does try. You know, there is this one scene, it's a more softer scene of him reminiscing on his wife because he's playing Mr. Freeze. And I thought that scene was actually well done. Like, I think Arnold actually acted pretty well there. But the problem is that that soft, beautiful scene, at least I think it was kind of beautiful, is really downplayed because of, well, just the rest of the tone of the movie. It's just way too goofy. It's stupid, all right? It's a goofy film. This movie was literally made just to sell toys. I think they even say that in like the behind the scenes stuff. And Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, she's not very good. Bane, his characterization in this movie was horrible. Acts nothing like he does in the comics. He's not intelligent. He's not a strategist. He's just a big dumb brute. And I hate his design. He is horrible in this film. What a terrible, terrible way to portray Bane. I mean, like I said, I don't have much to add that hasn't already been said about this movie. It's bad. It's very bad. Everyone who worked on this film hated it, and they knew it was bad. So, yeah, it sucks. I don't blame Joel Schumacher. I blame the studio. They took all the wrong notes from Forever, that being that they thought that they liked the campiness from the last movie and just upped it up for this film. And this just feels like a poor man's attempt at the 60s Batman show. So, yeah, overall, I don't like Batman and Robin at all. I haven't watched it in years. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. And I'll admit, as a kid, I did like it. But as an adult, looking back at it and watching it now, I guess, or at least watching it when I was a little older, yeah, it's a bad movie. And it killed Batman for quite a long time. I wouldn't say comic book movies, but it definitely killed Batman for some time. Terrible film. That's why it's at my number 12. Right, at number 11, I got Batman Forever. It's a decent movie. Like, for Joe Schumacher's first attempt at directing a Batman movie, it was fine. I don't think it was great, but it wasn't bad either. I'd rather watch that than Batman and Robin, so there's a compliment. But let's throw some more compliments at it. I think that Val Kilmer as Batman is actually pretty good. I like the little exploration that is done in this movie through his dual identity as Batman and Bruce, and how that movie kind of explores that. There's only one really bad scene with him, and that's when he's smiling at, I think, Nicole Kidman. That little smile he gives her, or at least that smile he gives behind her back. It's just kind of dumb. But that's really it, honestly. The costume, not good. I don't really like it. Again, it has the bat nipples. I thought that was stupid. And as for Chris O'Donnell, I never bought him as Robin, honestly. He's way too old to play the character. He doesn't look like a teenager at all. I don't buy him being Robin. He's just way too old. And also, he's just really bratty in this film, and I just really don't like that. I found him annoying. As for the villains, I think Jim Carrey is good. I enjoy him in the movie, and he's pretty entertaining. His costume as the Riddler is pretty decent. I don't hate it. As for Tommy Lee Jones, I don't like. Honestly, I really don't like. I did not find him that entertaining, and I also think it's weird that behind the scenes Tommy Lee Jones didn't like Jim Carrey because he was goofy, even though the character he's playing is also goofy. Still, either way, I don't think it's a good portrayal of Two-Face, and I just did not like him in this movie. Overall, though, this movie's fine. You know, I probably wouldn't watch it that much, every now and then, but like I said, if you were to pop it in and say, let's watch Batman Forever, I wouldn't be against it, as long as it's not Batman and Robin. That I would never watch again. But this movie, yeah, I pop it in every now and then. Anyway, that's my number 11. Alright, at my number 10, I got Batman Returns. So, this movie's kind of a mixed bag for me. There are things I like about it. I think the setting is great. The cinematography is great. The score from Danny Elfman is fantastic. I think Michael Keaton is still really good as Batman. I think Michelle Pfeiffer was fantastic as Catwoman. I love her costume. I think it looks amazing. But on the other hand, there's a lot of things I don't like about this movie. I think Danny DeVito's Penguin is one of them. I'm sorry. I did not like him in this movie. He was way too weird, way too horny for my liking, and I hate how the movie really tries to make you feel bad for him, even though he's doing a lot of like weird things and a lot of atrocities. I mean, for God's sakes, one of his plots in the film is that he's trying to kill all the firstborns of Gotham. Come on, man. I can't feel bad for a guy who tries to kill babies. That's just not right. I really hate how Tim Burton really tries hard, man. He tries hard to make you feel bad for Penguin, and I just don't. I really don't. There's not a lot of sympathy to be had for him. Like, maybe there's a little bit because of how his parents treated him, you know, abandoning him just because of his deformities. Sure, a little bit, but that doesn't justify what he does towards the third act. So that's probably my biggest gripe, is that I hate this thing that Burton's trying to do, is just trying to make me feel sympathy for a guy that honestly doesn't deserve a lot of sympathy. But as for some other things, I don't like. I don't like that Batman kills, and I know that's a problem in the first Burton movie, but in this one, I think he steps it up a bit too far. Like, there are scenes in this movie that shocked me. Batman would never do any of this stuff, and I get it. Interpretations are different, but the one thing you always got to keep right, at least in my opinion, the core aspect of Batman you always got to keep is him not killing. And in this movie, he's a killer. And I think that he's a hypocritical one at that too, because he berates Catwoman towards the end. Or not berates. Berate is a wrong word. He suggests to Catwoman towards the end that they should take in Mass Shrek as prisoner, which is weird because he had no problem killing a lot of those people earlier and a lot of those criminals. Now all of a sudden he grew a conscience. But I'll get more in depth in this in a review one day. But just know that I think Batman Returns is a decent follow-up to the first Batman movie, but it's a very Burton Batman movie. Like, this is his version of the character, and like I said, some things I like, some things I don't. Overall, though, it's a decent watch. All right, at my number 9, I got BVS, Dawn of Justice. So that's another movie I have mixed feelings on. I'm not gonna get too in depth because I actually have another video talking about this movie on another ranking I did. So I'm just gonna focus on the Batman aspects. Ben Affleck as Batman is good. I think he is really good. He just has some problems in this movie. But I'll still give him some praise. I think he was a very intimidating and scary Batman. He did a wonderful job at that. The fight scenes with him are fantastic. And I think the costume looks great. He's a physically intimidating Batman. I would be scared to run to this Batman or run into this Batman if I was a criminal. But like the last movie I just talked about, there's one glaring issue. He kills people. And he probably kills way more people in this movie than he does in Batman Returns and even the '89 movie. And it's overboard. Zack Snyder does not understand Batman at all. He does not understand the core of the character, and I think by his comments that he's made, it just kind of shows, even by this movie. I also think the reasoning for why Batman and Superman fight is really stupid. But again, that's all I'll say. This movie has some good things. Like I said, it has some good cinematography, it has some good fights, but it also has a lot of bad things. I'm just mainly focusing on the Batman aspect because I talk about this more in my Superman ranking. All you need to know is that I think the movie is fine. It's not great, it's not bad. It just doesn't have a good portrayal of Batman, or at least a faithful portrayal. But as its own thing, it's a decent watch. At number 8, I got the 1966 Batman movie. So I actually really like this movie a lot. I think yes, it is campy like the Joel Schumacher movies, but it's campy in a good way. Why? Because it's charming. That's something that I feel like the Schumacher movies didn't have. Charm. When I watch this, I can't help but smile and just laugh along with this film. There's a lot of iconic scenes. I'm not gonna get too in depth because I actually have a review for this movie that I plan on doing. So all I really will say is that I love Adam West's Batman. I love Burt Ward as Robin. I love the villains in this film, and I just think this is just a really entertaining, fun time. Yes, it's different from what you expect from Batman, but I think it's different in a good way. And I think everyone should watch it at least once. You know, even if you don't end up liking it, I still think you should experience it once because I personally believe it's a really fun movie and I enjoy watching it. Whenever I need something lighthearted, I just pop this in. So yeah, I love the 60s movie and I love the 60s show. It's different, but in a good way. All right, at my number 7, I got a movie that I grew up watching, so I do have some nostalgia goggles for it, and that is Batman 89. All right, so I really like this movie. I think it's really good. It's not a perfect portrayal of Batman, but I'll get into that in a little bit. I at least want to say some good things before I get there. The score is amazing. I think it's really catchy. It's really iconic, and it fits the movie. I think Danny Elfman did a really good job. The setting of this film, or at least how it looks, by what I mean by that, looks great. It feels like Gotham, so I really like that. I think Michael Keaton as Batman is fantastic. I'm not gonna say he's like my favorite Batman, but he's definitely one of my favorites. He's really good in the role. He pulls off being Bruce and Batman. He looks intimidating in his suit. That's another thing I like. His suit looks fantastic. The only problem with it is that, he can't turn his head. But that's really it. Other than that, he's great in the movie, and also he's one of the only Batman that can pull off a smile. So that's really cool and also kind of intimidating. And Jack Nicholson is fantastic as the Joker. If it wasn't for someone we'll talk about later, he would still be the best Joker. But I still really like him in the role, and he does steal the entire movie. Honestly, sometimes it feels like it's his movie, even though the movie's called Batman. It feels like Burton likes to focus more on the Joker instead of Batman, which is probably one of the things that I don't like about this movie. The movie just focuses a bit too much on the Joker instead of Batman, and I feel like it shouldn't be like that. I mean, the movie's called Batman. And another thing I don't like is that Batman kills in this film. It's pretty obvious that Burton only knew about the character surface level, and he didn't really take into account a lot of Batman's morals for the most part. So that's probably my big problem with this movie, is that Batman does unfortunately kill. But besides that, I still think it's a good movie. It's a classic, but I wouldn't say it's like the best adaptation of Batman. Oh, and one last positive, I think it's also a good origin story. But yeah, good movie. All right, and my number 6, I got The Dark Knight Rises. So I'm just gonna spitball some things I like about this movie because I probably will do a full-on review on it one day. I still think Christian Bale is good in the role. I like the journey he goes through in this film. Still can't take him that seriously because of the little gravelly voice. I really wish he just kept the voice from Batman Begins. And this one, I think everyone's already said this. He kind of sounds like, he smokes too much. So he should probably quit that. But besides that, I still think he's great as Batman. I think the action scenes are good. They're probably the best in the Dark Knight trilogy, not the best action scenes in Batman history in general, but in the context of the trilogy of this movie, they are the best fight scenes. I like them, especially the final fight towards the end. I think that was really good. I think Bane is a really good villain. He's great in this movie. I love Tom Hardy as Bane. He's calculating, he's intelligent, he's also very strong. So I'm glad they kept a lot of the things I like about Bane from the comics in this movie. Again, it's still more a realistic version of Bane, but it's well done. As for Catwoman, I think she was portrayed very well by Anne Hathaway. I like the little journey she goes through in this movie because in the beginning she is a villain, but because of the influence of Batman, she does end up becoming at least more heroic towards the end of the film. So there's not too many problems I have with this movie. I think it is a solid conclusion to the Dark Knight trilogy. My only real gripes is that the way Bane goes out is lame and pathetic, and I don't like the twist villain. I also think they kind of rushed Batman's recovery when he does get his back broken. But that's really it, honestly, for now. I probably will rewatch this movie just to see if there's any more flaws I have with it. But as a conclusion to one of the greatest trilogies ever, I thought it was a really good conclusion. All right, and my number five, I didn't think I would have this movie this high, but is the Lego Batman movie from 2017. So yeah, this movie is really good. Honestly, I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want my story's just kind of running out. But it's a really good movie. I thought it told a really heartfelt, warming story too. I love Will Arnett as Batman. I think he's hilarious. I love the rest of the cast. They're all really good. I think the animation is fantastic, and it's just a really good, fun, touching movie, especially about the message about accepting people into your life and forming a new family. I really enjoyed it. It's a really good movie, and I think you should all watch it. It's a shame that it got canned, at least the sequel got canned. I would have loved a sequel to this film. Before I got Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. This movie is honestly fantastic. It's one of the best animated Batman movies. The animation is beautiful. The performance is all great. Kevin Conroy is fantastic in the role. So is Mark Hamill. I love the mystery of the Phantasm. And when I found out who the Phantasm actually was, I was pretty shocked. And I also just really like the story. I like how this tells an earlier origin for Batman. Not necessarily what happens to him as a kid, that they kind of past that, more so in his adulthood and what led him to become Batman. I just thought it was really well done, and it's a nice little character study for Batman. So yeah, please go watch Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It is a fantastic movie that everyone should watch at least once. At my number four, I got Batman Begins. Not gonna go too in depth because I'm gonna do a review on this one day as well, but not much to say. Great performance from Christian Bale. His voice is a lot better in this movie than he is in the other Dark Knight movies. I think that the action scenes are pretty good. I think it's a fantastic origin story. Scarecrow is a great villain, even though he is pretty wasted in this movie, and Cillian Murphy does a wonderful job. And I think that Ra's al Ghul is actually a really, really good villain. I love Liam Neeson in this role, but the biggest compliment I can give this movie is the story. I think it's fantastic. It's also one of the only movies where the movie really focuses on Batman. So yeah, for Christopher Nolan's first outing, this was a great movie. I highly recommend it. There's a reason why this trilogy is highly regarded. All right, and my number two might come as a shock, but I got The Dark Knight. I mean, I don't know what I can say to this movie, what hasn't been said. So much praise to be thrown at this film. But again, none of it's going to be original for me because it's been said already. A lot of good things have been said about this movie, but I'll give my thoughts. I think the story's fantastic. I love Christian Bale in the movie. He's really good in it, but also the gravelly voice is the time where he started really leaning into that little smoker voice, so didn't like that much. Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face is fantastic. I love the fall of Harvey Dent and how it's done in this film. Again, I really, really enjoy the story. It's great. Jim Gordon is fantastic in this movie, and I think that Gary Oldman does a wonderful job. I also love Michael Caine as Alfred. He does a great job in all of these movies. He's probably one of the best parts about the film. And of course, Heath Ledger. One of the greatest villain portrayals ever to be put in a film. Again, I don't know what I can say to add to it other than he's fantastic in the movie. He's really good. I really love that they keep the Joker's origin very vague and mysterious. That's actually, I prefer it that way. And I like that he tells his origin in different ways. Like he says, if he's gonna have a past, what better than that? It's better to have it to be multiple choice, or at least he prefers it that way. So all you really need to know is that Heath Ledger steals the entire show in this movie. There's a reason why he won that Oscar. He is just fantastic in the role. So one day I will do an in-depth review, but not much I can add here. It's a great movie. I just don't like it as much as my number one. All right, and my number one might come as a shock, but it's The Batman. I'm gonna be real with you. I was very excited for this film from day one when they announced it, and when Matt Reeves took over. The way he described this movie, it sounded like the Batman movie of my dreams. A detective-driven Batman story. I've always wanted that, and it took so long for us to actually get that. But I'm so happy we finally got it, and I'm so happy it turned out so well. Seriously, I love this movie. I think it's great. So many good things I can say. The cinematography is beautiful. The action scenes are great, especially the Batmobile. The performances all around are fantastic. The standout is Robert Pattinson. I love him as Batman. He has become my favorite Batman. And I love that in this movie, Batman is the main character. He is the main focus. We never, or at least rarely ever turn away from him in this film. We're the character we follow throughout. And I just think that Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job as Batman. He plays a very human Batman. And I feel a lot of sympathy for this Batman. You can tell he's still affected by the death of his parents. And the way he takes it out on these criminals is absolutely terrifying, which is another thing I got to give some praise. Batman is really scary in this movie, and I love that. But again, the biggest thing I love about his performance is just the journey this Batman goes through in this film. I thought it was beautiful, and the movie just has some really beautiful scenes. Honestly, it really does, especially towards the end. It's a little tear jerking, at least in my opinion. But yeah, Robert Pattinson, he's my favorite Batman. He proved me wrong, and I can't wait to see more of him. Some other nice things I can say: Colin Farrell was great as the Penguin, unrecognizable. Zoe Kravitz is really good as Catwoman, even though I don't like her costume that much, but that's okay. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna say too much because I want to save it for a review one day. One final thing I will say is the costume. This is my favorite bat suit. I'm a sucker for armored bat suits, and this is the best one. But yeah, the Batman is my number one. I love this film. It's my favorite Batman movie. It lived up to all my hype, and I can't wait for the sequel. So that's my list. Let me know how you would rank all these movies and which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite. Thank you for watching.